and welcome back to Crypto Simplified. The market's down, so just let's look at something positive. We have an awesome potential ICO coming up, and I do want to run the rule on this because it's something that I'm very bullish on. If you're a regular visitor to my channel, you know that I only really like looking at stuff that gets me excited, and renewable energy is exactly that sort of space. So in this video, I'll have a look at what WePower is all about, the problems they're trying to address, have a look at the team, their partnerships, as well as give you some information on participating in this token sale. So let's get right into it then. They want to bridge what we have in renewable energy infrastructure and add to that. And they want to do this by helping these companies raise capital for projects. This is done via energy tokenization, where one energy token is equivalent to 1 kilowatt hour of power. And the fact that I'm talking about this is because it's blockchain based. They have cryptocurrency as a major part of their ecosystem. So let's just see first what the problem is before we can actually explain how WePower is going to fix it. So basically, to put it simply, fundraising for renewable energy projects sucks. I know this because I wanted to set up a solar power plant on a part of our family farm. There's a minimum investment of $200,000 needed in order to make a plant big enough to actually be profitable and give you return on investment within the next decade. So as a result, only the people with a ton of money were able to do this. And that means institutions had to be involved in a major way. If you wanted to do this as an individual, fundraising was a really awful long process. And that is a huge issue because we have an absolute deficit of energy in the world. Especially if you look at India, where I live. In Bombay is one of the few places in this country that does not have power cuts. And that's absolutely atrocious. We have so much sunshine over here. Why are we not harnessing it? This happens because people just don't really want to invest in this. The government used to offer subsidies on new renewable energy projects. They're scaling those subsidies back because now the price of photovoltaic cells has dropped so dramatically over the last 5 years. So because of this decline in free money, people don't really see the energy sector as something that will give them quick returns. And while that's totally true, this is happening at the detriment of people who actually need power. So WePower wants to use blockchain integration into this energy grid in order to reduce the wastefulness of it all. Intermediaries are a large part, especially in a developing place like India, for when it comes to energy distribution. That's because while the costs of setting up a power plant in India, the initial cost won't be that high, you do have a lot of, let's call them, hidden costs, which is making sure the politicians are happy, your local politicians, and it going further up. To get your plans passed, you need to pay someone to push your application further up the list. It shouldn't happen, but unfortunately, it's a reality of what we have here. What this can do is give additional transparency and help eliminate these intermediaries who are actually making these projects unfeasibly expensive. Next up, we have data logs, because it's very, very, very easy to actually hide the amount of energy that you're producing and to make this stuff sort of disappear and sell it at cut price, and that sort of corruption that happens over here in this energy generation space. So with a blockchain, it's an immutable ledger. You cannot change this because this ledger is maintained by consensus of a network. So what this will enable people to do is keep track of all this power that's being generated and see if it's being lost anywhere by bad players. Next up, because it's a network that's decentralized, the network will never go down completely unless there's a solar flare or something apocalyptic like that. We can be pretty sure that this is going to last. Then again, if there's an apocalypse or a solar flare, I'm pretty sure we'll have much bigger problems to worry about. And finally, my favorite part about all this is that you do not need bags and bags of cash to get involved in the renewable energy sector. If everyone puts in a little bit, we can actually decentralize the funding for all this. And that is exactly where WePower comes in and stands above all the other companies in this space. For more information on the problem, You need to look at the sheer amount of bureaucratic processes that you need in order to set this all up. If you're in the developing world, add a few bribe arrows somewhere in there, and then you're going to get a better picture of what actually happens. Each part of this process can take between months and years. This is a problem because the longer you take, the more your costing gets messed up. So what we need to do is make this streamlined. Say, hey, we have a need for energy here. Great, let's set up a plant. Do the stuff quickly. But unfortunately, with the existing system, it's easier said than done. So with WePower, they just cut out a ton of those blue boxes and just made things a lot more simple with a lot easier access to funding. That is what they want. They want to make life simple. And we can never have enough simplicity in this ever so complicated world. So this leads us to the use of the token. As I said earlier, one token equals 1 kilowatt hour of power. So this is actually backed by energy. And being a token form, it's tradable, it's liquid. But there is also massive incentive for people to just hold on to these tokens. Any companies that want to launch their projects on this WePower platform need to donate a certain percentage of their energy to the generation of energy tokens. These are not the same as the WePower tokens, because the WePower tokens that will be on sale at this ICO are like the Big Daddy tokens. Every project will have its own tokens because every project has different costing, every project has different return on investment, and every project has different output of power. So you can't have a one-size-fits-all token, but you do have a one-size master token that enables you to play in this space and invest and move money around in this space. In this ICO, you will get a WPR token. You will not get the other energy tokens. You will get the master token in this. And over time, you can either trade this WePower token in for energy, or you can sell it on an exchange or on the WePower platform. I am looking at this as a HODL token. I'm mainly looking at most of my investments in the long term because I do believe that this technology is very disruptive and it can bring a whole bunch of benefits to a whole lot of people. So because of my optimism for the use case, I'm considering this as a HODL token. Having said that about the token, a token is just a thing. And companies are not run by things. Companies are run by people. So what's more important than the token itself is possibly the people behind it. I will not even attempt to pronounce these guys' surnames, so apologies in advance, folks. But this is a team that is fantastic. Fantastic. Experienced and specialized. Nikolai has 10 years of experience in everything that WePower is trying to disrupt. Arturas is the guy making sure that they can do this legally and do this well. He has a fantastic amount of connections in Lithuania. And finally, Casper, the CTO, was pivotal in setting up Estonia's smart energy grid. His influence will be very evident later on in this presentation. While the entire team has solid profiles, I'd like to focus on the leadership. These are the type of people you want orchestrating a team. Experience, technical experience, and a legal backing. That's a really promising trifecta of potential contributions from your leadership. And that is great. Absolutely great. And it gets better actually, because you look at the advisors, they've also got 3 fantastic people behind them. They have the technical side covered with David Cohen. They got the Bitcoin philosophy and the cryptocurrency philosophy covered with John. And then you got David Drake, who can make sure that they have access to finances as they need it. So in terms of risk reduction, the personnel at WePower will probably go a very long way to prevent these unexpected hiccups that can so often happen in this cryptocurrency space. This is a company that wants to disrupt a space that is dominated by institutional investors and billionaires, basically. So it's key that they actually make partnerships early on, and they are going the national route. So of course the Nordic states will get involved in this very forward-thinking stuff. That just goes without saying. But then another great implementation of their technology will happen with Elering, who are Estonia's national power providers. So they have a smart grid. As I said, Casper's experience in that smart grid system ties in really well over here, because it is with Elering where they're going to have their large-scale pilot projects. As of this month, WePower has another client. Unfortunately, they haven't mentioned too much information about this client, so I just listed it as an undisclosed operational power plant. They have written about the capacity, they just haven't said where it is or who it is with. But when it comes to getting the ball rolling, this is not just rolling. The ball is being flung right into action, because you can't hope for something better than being integrated with a national grade system in a very forward-thinking country. For those who don't know much about Estonia, these are the geniuses who've given you Skype. They have an e-residency program in order to enable you to open up businesses in Estonia very easily. When it comes to eliminating unnecessary processes and bureaucracy, every country in the world should look up to Estonia. So while they made a great start, there's still so much more left to come, because 2018 is going to be a fantastic year for WePower. Starting with this token sale, they're going to launch that platform very soon, and then they're going to start testing nationwide in Estonia within just a matter of months. This project started in 2017. They've done a lot of the work already, so it's not like several other ICOs that just say, hey, here's our idea. What do you think? Want to invest? No, they actually have a working project that needs a bit of funding in order to expand. And this is the sort of ICO that I get excited about, because risk minimization is way lower. But yes, it's an ICO, so there's always a level of risk. There is no such thing as a risk-free investment. But these guys are going a really long way to minimizing that. If you look further down on this roadmap, you can see in Q3, they're going to launch in Spain, and in Q4 in Portugal and Germany. So Spain and Portugal, yeah, I understand. Really sunny Mediterranean countries. There's a huge amount of solar energy being generated there. But Germany, why Germany? If you actually look at the stats, Germany are putting most countries in the world to shame when it comes to solar power generation, and they don't even have that much sunshine there. So all that shows us how far a little bit of care, concern, and forward thinking goes in order to cementing yourself as an industry leader. So they're taking all the right steps by the looks of it when it comes to actually getting that project out there. A key part of any business is your competitors, because your competitors are going to be fighting with you for your market share, but they're also going to be pushing you to improve and to keep expanding your platform and making it better so that you do not get left behind. This can be seen as both a good and a bad thing, but WePower don't really have any like-for-like competitors in this space. The closest you've got is Power Ledger and Greenium. Both these companies are in the distribution side of it. So if you are generating your own power, these two platforms help you distribute that power to places where it's needed. I'll attach a link that talks about the Power Ledger partnerships and the ongoing projects. That'll be in the description. But basically, it just shows you the sort of different space that they're looking at. WePower are looking at replacing this massive institutional presence of energy generation with normal people investing and getting these power plants up and running. Power Ledger is all about people who generate their own energy and making sure that people have as much energy as they need. Greenium are doing a very similar thing. Hydrominer, on the other hand, still use this renewable energy idea, but what they're doing is making mining of cryptocurrency a lot more energy efficient by generating power at the source and using that power to mine your cryptocurrency. So while Hydrominer are producing power, they're producing power for use right there and then, so they're not actually providing energy for other people to use. They may do this in the future, but for now, they are a zero carbon emission mining unit. So maybe the lack of competitors might give WePower some time to actually cement themselves as an industry leader, On a downside, it might stop them from actually pushing their limits as far as they can, but the fact that they're actually working with very forward-thinking governments, I don't think they're going to be resting on their laurels anytime soon. Well, just yet at least. So, having gone through all that, let's just talk about the numbers behind this token sale. There's a soft cap of 5 million. And for those of you who have not invested in token sales before, a soft cap is the minimum amount of money that they need to raise, the absolute minimum. If the soft cap is not reached, all the people who've invested will be refunded their money. The hard cap is the total amount of money that they would like to raise from this. So that is their funding goal. Their absolute goal is the hard cap, and that's set at 35 million US dollars. They've already had a private pre-sale, and that raised about 3 million US dollars. This was mainly with institutional investors who would like to put much larger sums of money into this. I don't normally invest in projects that have over 10 billion tokens because I think that the chances of those tokens reaching a really high price is considerably lower than tokens that have lower supply. Scarcity affects the price. So they're going to be offering 340 million tokens as a total amount of tokens issued. Out of these, you can buy just over half. 55% of these tokens will be available for sale. And those will be available for sale in this token sale as well as in that token pre-sale. So this is the combined amount of tokens that will be sold. The remaining tokens will be for the team and for the community as an incentive. Because if the team hold a certain amount of these tokens, it is in their best interest for the company to do better, so the value of their holdings that they have automatically increase. So you're using equity to encourage growth of the company. And the last point is something I find very, very important, because a token lockup ensures that there's not a huge supply of tokens on the market, therefore the price stays up. And also, a lockup is a guarantee that these tokens will stay with the company, not go anywhere, for a certain period of time. What this does is ensures that the founders cannot sell their tokens and just jump ship if they don't see potential in their own company. This is not a common occurrence in the cryptocurrency space, but there's always potential for this happening, and they are insulating their investors from any potential downturns due to this by having a token lockup. Any tokens not sold during this token sale will be burned. That means they will be deactivated, they will not be in circulation, therefore the token supply will reduce. That is only if they do not meet that hard cap, therefore increasing scarcity, therefore increasing potential upside to the tokens that you hold. And guys, this is just page 1 of the information, because this is where the good stuff happens. The minimum investment is $200, and I think that is the main reason why I'm so interested in this. I do not want to spend a minimum of 1 Ether on one project. I really want to diversify my investments, and I want to have lots and lots and lots of small positions. In case one of those positions goes up 20x, it has covered my losses on any other positions. So I like the fact that they are letting us enter this market with a much smaller minimum. The next bullet point is actually, I think it's quite important, and it's sort of encouraging you to invest early. You can get a 15% bonus if you put your money in before the soft cap is met. While in some cases I see this as a red flag, it's not a huge bonus, firstly, so it's not something you should worry about. And secondly, there have been a ton of people on the whitelist for this ICO. A ton of people. So I think there'll be lots of people sending in that money the moment the 1st of February hits. Do not be alarmed by the fact that the token contract address will be revealed later. This is just standard protocol to avoid any funny business by bad players in the market. So that's more or less what I need to say about WePower. And by the look of that graph, I'm fairly positive about this outlook. And for the first time ever, I've given a gold star. This gold star is because I absolutely love the use case and I'm 100% behind what they're trying to do in the short, mid, and long term. They want to democratize energy and make sure that people have access to power. Everyone can have access to power by letting everyone invest in developments in our energy grid. While that is the most important thing, I do think the low minimum investment, the national partnerships that they have, and the potential ones they're going to get, the potential for scalability, the advisors, the team, as well as the listing of plenty of key short-term objectives in the roadmap makes me overly positive about this. I am very interested in investing. I'm not going to tell you to invest or not to. I'm not an investment advisor, but this is something that I'm very convinced by. I'm already on the whitelist. This is something that I am very excited about. Looking at the neutral aspects, while I think the lack of competitors in this space can initially help them just cement their position in this industry, I do think they will need some competitors soon in order to keep them looking over their shoulders and focusing on development, streamlining, and just making what they do better. So the only negative is that this is a pretty technical sector and not too many people know the ins and outs of it all, so just be a little cautious if you're going to invest in it, especially because of that. So I think that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know what you think about WePower. I know a lot of YouTubers have been covering this already, but I just wanted to give a bit of a different angle to the way people are looking at this. If you like the way I did this, do let me know. Leave a like, do subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to have a chat with you guys in the comments. If you got any questions, I'll be more than happy to clear it all up. So this is Mark from Crypto Simplified signing off. You guys have an awesome rest of the day. We will catch up very soon. See you.